In this video, we are going to look at how to produce plans in Civil 3D. So, in order to produce plans, we have to first create what we call V-frames. And in order to create V-frames, let's go to the Output tab and then create V-frames. So when you create on that, you're going to get this wizard for us to create the V-frames. So we are first going to set the alignment. So the alignment, we are choosing our center line alignment, which was the roadway alignment created. Then the range station, let us choose automatic from the beginning to the end. Next. Then the sheets. We are going to plot the plan and the profile on the same sheet. Otherwise, you have options to have the plans only. You can see what happens there. You will have the plan only, or you can have the profiles only. But in my case, I want to have the plan and the profile below the plan. So you can choose to set a template. If you have a template, you can use it by clicking on these three dots and then you select your template. So in my case, I'm going to use the default templates provided in the metric template, and I'm selecting ISO A1 at a scale of 1 to 500. Make sure the annotation scale you're at is the same scale for the template that you're going to use. Otherwise, first cancel and then set the annotation scale to the value you want. If you have your own custom template that you want to import, you can click on these three dots and then you import your template. But for now, we are not using any external template. We are using the default A1 at the scale of 1 to 500, which is the same annotation scale down here. So click on OK to accept that. Then the view frame placement, you can choose along the alignment. You can select one of these to see what happens. So I'm selecting the first option, which is along the alignment. Then you can set the first view frame before the start of the alignment by some distance, but I'm not going to change any of this. Let's just go to next. We are going to have the V-frame group. So the V-frame group, under the V-frame group, we can choose to have our own name, or we can accept to use the template which is provided. So it's going to be V-frame group, then the V-frame group, the alignment name, and then the next counter. So we can accept this. Or if you want, you can put your own name, but we are not going to do that. The description, you can put a description if you want. Then the layer, let's leave it at that. We are going to have the V-frame name. So the V-frame name is going to be VF, then the next counter. So let's also leave this. Let's just use that. And then the style here is basic. You can choose to modify it if you want. We are not going to modify that. The label style, let's leave everything as default. And then move on next. So the match lines. So match lines are simply reference lines that are used to divide a very long drawing into manageable sheets. So they will be placed at the end and at the beginning to show continuity of our drawing. So like the alignment, it's very long, so they'll be placed at the end and at the beginning, as we shall see. So let's just leave these settings as the default. The labels, the match line, the layer, the style, let's leave them as default and move to the next. So the profile view. So the profile view, we can select the profile view style. I'm not going to change anything here. Let's just leave them as default. Then the band set, let's just leave everything here as the defaults, and then we create V-frames. So click on create V-frames. So when you create on frames, we are going to see that our V-frames are indeed created. So the match line is this line that you're going to see at the end of each section. You're going to see a match line being placed there. You can see that. Right now, the number is, we are just seeing hashtags because we have not yet created our sheets, but we shall see our numbers placed when we create our sheets. So the match lines are these reference lines that will be placed to show the continuity, whereby one section will end here and then the next one will begin from there. So we are going to see that when we create our sheets. So next, we are going to create our sheets after creating our V-frames. So the V-frames we have created are going to act as the V-ports for our alignment, for us to view this alignment or our road in the sheet. But for now, I don't want to show these center line points on my plan. So let me first try to turn the display of the points to not display. So let me look for on the prospector tab. Let's first go to point groups and then the center line points. I right click and change the properties. So on the information tab, I'm going to set the point style to none. And then the description, let me also set it to none. So I don't want them to show. Let me click on OK. So my center line points are not going to show. Let me just leave the trees. But if I don't want them, I can also turn them off. I can turn off the description key sets. I can change them. But for now, let me leave them to show. Or I can also choose to freeze their layer. Okay, let me first leave this the way it is, and then we see how we can show this on our sheets. On the output tab, under plan production, select create sheets. This is going to load for us a wizard which we shall use to create our sheets. Under the V-frame group, we have to select a V-frame group, but we only have one in our drawing, so we are choosing this one. And then the V-frame range, let us select all. And the layout creation. So under layout creation, we have around 3 options. We can choose to have one layout drawn in one new drawing, or we can have all our layouts created in a new drawing, or we can have all the layouts within this current drawing. So I don't want to have all these layouts in this current drawing. So what I'm going to choose to create all my layouts in a new drawing. Then the layout name. So you can choose to rename this if you want, but this naming template is we are going to have the sheet and then next counter. So I'm okay with this. Then the north arrow block. The north arrow block, you can come and you change if you want. So we are going to choose, let us choose the north. Let us choose north. So next, sheet set. So you can create a new sheet set, or you can add this to an existing sheet set. So you can browse if you have one and you want to add to an existing sheet set, but I'm not going to do this. What I'm going to do, we are going to create a new sheet set. So you can rename this if you want. So let me have this name as V-frame group roadway. Let me just have it as that. I like having it like that. So you can change this name to what you want. So let me just leave it as that. So you can also browse. You can now browse to set the sheet set storage location. So if you want to browse, you can browse to a folder where you want to store this, and then you store it there. So I'm okay with this. You can also the sheet file storage location. You can also browse for a location where you want to store that. You can also, and then the sheet file name, we have a naming template which you are going to use. So let us leave this one. I'm okay with this one. So next, we go to the profile views. So on the profile views, the profile view style to be used, we are going to use this style which we already chose. And then the band set to be used, we are also using that. So other profile view options, so you can choose to get settings from an existing profile view. You can select a profile view here, or you can click on this to select it from your drawing area. what I'm going to do here, I'm going to choose my own settings. So when you select this, it will allow you to load the profile view wizard to make your own settings. So when you load this wizard, we have already seen this wizard. We have used it before, so you can make your own settings from here and make some changes. I don't want to change so much here. Let me just go to next. I want to just make some changes under the data bands. So when you come here, so we know what data bands are. We saw them under the profile views. So when you come here, make sure that you set, currently you can see that we have profile 1 and profile 2, and under here we have the edge surface and then the edge surface 1, both under profile 1 and profile 2. So make sure that you change profile 2 to our design profile so that we are able to see the elevations on the existing surface and then the elevation on the our design profile. So make sure you change profile 2 to the design profile. So let's change it here. So this is all that I want to change here. And then next, I think other things you can just state them to be the way they are. So let's just leave this the way they are and then we click on finish. So next, align views. So when you click on these options, you have the first one to align profile and plan view at start. So you can check out these options and you look at this and see what you see so that you can check out for what you want. So when you click on the third option, you will align the profile and the plan at the end. This one will align both at the center, and then the first one will align profile and plan at the start. So I prefer this one. Let me go with that. So next, now under here, we have a chance to create data references. So we haven't discussed much about shortcuts and data references, but remember we are going to create our sheets in a new drawing. So if you create the sheets in a new drawing, Civil 3D will give you a chance that if you want to create some data references from this drawing to the new drawing that we are going to create, you can have a chance to reference some of this data to the new drawing that we are going to create. For instance, if you want to reference the surfaces, you can check them here so that the data references are created for these surfaces in the new drawing that we are going to create. But you can see that some data some data references have already been created for you. For example, the alignments, and some of this data has already been referenced. So if you want to reference your surfaces, you can go ahead and you select them. But since we haven't discussed much about them, let me not make any changes. Let's just leave this the way it is. We are not going to create data references. We are just going to leave the ones that are already ticked for us. So don't make any changes here. And then we can now create. So just click on create sheets. So to complete this process, you have to first save the current drawing. So accept that, click OK to accept that. So Civil 3D is going to prompt you to select a profile view origin. So I'm going to find somewhere where it won't interfere with the current drawings, somewhere here. So let me choose this point above here as my origin. So the profile view are going to be created upwards and then towards the right. So let me choose this as my origin. So I click there. So now the sheets are being created. So we need to wait for some time. So let me just click on OK. Let me just ignore this warning. So let me just click on this. So right now our sheets have now been created. So, and the sheet set manager is now opened here. So if I want to view my sheets, so probably your naming could be different from this because me, I have already created some other sheets already. So I have sheets from sheet 9 up to 16. But if you want to open this, you can double click on this to open it. So let me close this. So here you can see, let me first put this one here. So you can see that right now my plans have been created. So this is the first one. So you can see the match lines are here. So this is where this is going to stop, and then the new section of the road is going to begin from here on the next sheet. So let me open sheet number 10. Probably on your screen you have sheet number 2. So you can see that now our plans have been created. So the plan and the profile have been created on the same sheet, whereby we have our plan on the top and then the profile down here. So this is the elevation, which is on the existing, and then this one on the design. So we can view just by double clicking here. So this is how our plans are going to be. Now you can make, if you have your own template, you can use your own template to make this appear a little bit better, but in this case we are just using the default template provided in the Civil 3D metric template. So this is how our plans are for now, but you can make this better, but we are not going to go through much more details than this. So if you have a template, you can use it here so that your work looks a bit more presentable. And even the data bands here, you can add more information here. You can add the horizontal geometry, you can add the cut and the fill information here, but we haven't discussed so much about editing these data bands in this tutorial. So for now, let's just have this. So you can view sheets. In this video, we have seen how we can produce plans. We have briefly looked at how we can produce these plans. So in the next video, we are going to see how we can produce reports. If you have found this helpful, make sure you subscribe, like, and share to your friends. Let's meet in the next video.